What's going on, college football fans, Michigan fans? It's your boy Marcus, one half of House Divided, here to break down Michigan's uh, gracious win, 21-16 over Purdue this past Saturday. I'm gonna go ahead and talk about it, break it all down. Before we hop on that, regular housekeeping: like, share, subscribe. Tell all your football fans about us. Share us out. Let us know if you're a fan of a rivalry, if you're a fan of the Big Ten, if you're a fan of Michigan. Make sure you flock in here. Make sure you flock in here and help us grow for sure. Starting out for Michigan, out is Justice Haynes, right? The Michigan's Heisman contending running back, 50-yard expert, big play connoisseur, I guess you can say. Justice Haynes out riding the bicycle with the boot on his foot on the Saturday, so it was a little bit of a sombering sight. Would be kind of a gut shot, one that kind of shocks fear into you for the rest of the season, if not for a guy named Jordan Marshall. Okay. Jordan Marshall is a man. You hear me? MANN, man. Okay. Y'all go ahead and y'all talk about him in the workman's jacket if you want to. Tackling. Get him down with one defender. Let's see it happen all season. Let's see it. Let's just see one person take him down. I'd like to see it. But no, in all seriousness, very positive to have a guy like that in your room when you have a major injury like that, when you have your number one go down. And that's kind of how Michigan has been built since Harbaugh kind of got things turned around here at Michigan. So good to see that that's still stable. It's always good to see the cultural staples of your program holding you afloat, especially in a time where your freshman is being a freshman. And I guess that's what we'll don't let me get off the running backs too quickly. Bryson Cuslow had some great runs in the second half. Jasper Parker had a good run, and then we didn't see him again. I don't know what Jasper's not doing that Tony and Sharon don't like, where he's not holding the second position. I think he's talented enough. He's got the size profile for a guy that young. He seems to be able to tote the rock. I don't know exactly what it is, but they did go to Bryson, and he has some really tough runs there in the second half. That was encouraging, right? Like, we know we got Jordan Marshall, but now that we know that we'll be missing Haynes for some time here, then you gotta find a way to have a balanced running attack, and that just doesn't come from one guy. Let's go ahead and talk about the quarterback play. Look, I don't want to sound like a broken record, right? Like, we know the obvious points. He's a freshman. He's going to be a freshman this entire season. So, like, certain part of the anxiety or the criticism of the offense, it at least qualify it with that in mind, that he's 18 years old. He's going to be 18 years old for the rest of the year. There are going to be those head scratcher, oh my God, what the hell type plays. And the reason why it's so important to reiterate that is because when your offense isn't doing well, it's not because of 20 bad plays. It's not because of every time we snap this ball offensively, we're doing something wrong. That's not what it takes to stifle an offense. Most of the time, when your offense is struggling to sustain drives the way that Michigan wants to sustain drive, go on 10, 12, 14 play drives, it's these small things: alignment, protections, penalties. Penalties is a big thing, right? Hitting the guy we're supposed to hit on the plays that when we dial up something that actually works, right? The benefit to a run-heavy offense is supposed to be that your play action should be unstoppable. You should get consistent pops on play action because teams have to leverage so hard against your running game. Michigan is at the point where teams have to leverage so hard against their running game. They are also getting the pops on these play actions that everybody wants to see. The last piece to that is getting the 18-year-old that's running the offense to identify the right guy, get the pass to him on time in a catchable way, right? Not darting it, not laser beaming it directly to him, right? Like he's got a tractor beam on the ball, but sometimes with a bit of touch, a bit of arc. I don't think it's something that we should be coaching in our wide receiver room. We shouldn't be using this language in our receiver room, but it's not nothing that Bryce is operating at 1,000,000 miles per second, which you can't criticize him, right? He's doing something that he really shouldn't be doing. He's running the offense. He's the linchpin to the offense at a time where he's not comfortable with everything in the offense. So you would expect his clock to be fast. But what comes with the fast clock is you start missing things, right? You start letting the details slip. So now, all of a sudden, on a third down late in the second half, we get a very good bust on the flea flicker play, right? Zach Marshall's running a corner route. He's open. He's there. But Andrew Marsh is streaking on the post. I mean, there's no safety in the middle. He got at least 2 steps on a guy. He's just waiting for Bryce to throw in the ball. And we didn't get there. Now, did we get a first down? Yeah. I'm not sure if we got a touchdown that drive. But in any case, those are the type of opportunities that even throughout the game, when you're expecting to be up 2-3 touchdowns on Purdue by the end of the first half, that's how you get there. That's how you get there. Not punt, penalty, punt. That type of rhythm. Not only does it stifle you on offense, but again, this thing of marching the defense out there for 20 to 40 plays in the first half, we can't get into that. We cannot burn the tires off our defense in the first half. Can't do that. And I think we have just flat out more talent than Purdue, so it didn't hurt us there. We played a lot of young guys in this game. There was a lot of youth in the lineup there. Man, the injuries in the linebacker room just keep on piling up. Jayshon Barham goes out after the first series, so you see a lot. And obviously, Jimmy Roller has been out this week. So you got Nathaniel Owusu-Boateng that was playing. Obviously, Troy Bowles got a lot of those snaps because he was already kind of in the rotation. We saw some Chase Taylor in the game as well. A lot of young guys flanking Ernest Hausman, and even some opportunities where it's 2 young guys in the middle at the same time. So, yeah, you're playing a lot of young guys. Dom Nichols is out there. Saw some more Jaden Saunders. He returned back to the field. I think we saw some more Shamari Earls, and Mason Curtis got a lot more time this year. So a lot of young guys playing. Lugert Adepaye was on the field. Okay, so I think the idea was to use guys in this game. Even still, you had opportunities to extend this lead early that weren't hit on. And so I'm of the mindset that here you go, you got your second bye week. Everybody's got their thing that we're working on, right? Obviously, we're trying to get healthy. For the the wide receivers, they know who they are. You know what to focus on. It's not going to get better until it gets better. And you're the only one that can control it. I'm not going to speak your name. I'm not going to talk you up, but you know who you are. And regardless of what people think about your size, your talent, your deservingness to still be in the lineup, you're the only one that can change the narrative, and nothing changes for you until you perform. And that's just where we're at. You perform or you die in football. That's what it has to be. I believe in that individual, and I think this bye week is well needed. For the quarterback, I would say let's work on number one, working on flipping protections. Let's start creating some muscle memory into checking blitzes, identifying the mic. Can't come from the center all the time, right? It can't depend on the guys on the offensive line to fix it for them. So that is something that if we could get another evolution from him this season, and I think we've gotten fine progression out of him so far. A little bit of, stagnating, maybe hitting a wall here over the last 2 games, but definitely not anything that feels like a regression it just feels more like a young guy trying to figure it out. But if we could expect one more evolution from him in the latter parts of this season, I would like it to be, maybe checking into some more advantageous runs, finding some more opportunities to pull the ball and run it off the RPO instead of bailing on our second read on rollouts and negatives, right? I think he's compensated the fact that he's handing off a lot in the RPO with now I'm getting out on the naked and I clearly have room to run. But the thing is, when they're running that, the idea is to get a big play in the passing game and not necessarily a first down run. So take those opportunities to run and force those ends to be honest, and pull it there and get those first down runs. As opposed to the nakeds, where running is still an option, but the idea is to get a big chunk in the passing game. So you want to take those opportunities when they come. Teams are much more likely to give up a 9-yard run on 1st and 10 than they are a 20-yard run on 3rd and 8, or excuse me, a 20-yard pass on 3rd and 8. And that's what you want from those nakeds, those boots, more often than not. Defense, I feel like we're kind of in a mode. We're hitting a stride. We just got to get healthy, man. We have to get healthy. I think our season is going to go the way that our linebackers go this season. If we're able to get some sort of health going into, that final game of the season, potentially postseason play, maybe we'll look all right. But I don't think we'll last versus elite teams playing freshmen at linebacker. And that's just my wholehearted view. Could be wrong. Could be entirely wrong. Those guys could play out of their minds. Todd Bowles could play up, and Ernest Hausman is still in there. But without the contributions that we've been getting from Jimmy Roeder or Cole Sullivan, I feel like now we're at a little bit of a disadvantage because now you got to play guys who are getting their first playing time this year, other than Troy Bowles. Let's see here. Any more bye week stuff? Man, special teams. Like, you guys are continuing to hurt my heart. Hudson Hallenbeck, brother, find a brew house, find a booty house, do something, man. I know you got a leg, so let's I don't know if it's the crowd. I don't know. We've been on the road a couple of weeks, maybe that, or maybe his old lady's on his back. Who knows? But somebody needs to woosah with my boy Hudson Hallenbeck. And then in the return game, again, maybe this is something we address in the offseason. Not one to call for somebody's job, but I do believe that something has to give from special teams. We've had inconsistency in the kicking game, inconsistencies in the punting game, and really next to no threat in the returning games. So that it's we're net negative, I feel like, in special teams, and that can't last. So yeah, that's where I'm at with it. I feel like Michigan's in a decent position, right? Bunch of one-loss Big Ten teams sitting in the same position. You got us, you got Oregon, Indiana hasn't lost one, Ohio State hasn't lost one. Who else? I think USC, they beat Nebraska, so they've only got one Big Ten loss. So, Michigan's sitting right there in a logjam. It's not sexy. I think they're somewhere in the low teens this week in the AP poll, but you're right where you want to be. Go out here, go to Wrigley Field after your bye, beat Northwestern. Go out to Maryland, take care of business there. Come home for the final game of the season. Do what you've been planning to do since the season started. And then we're right where we want to be. Can't leave us out with that kind of finish, with those type of wins. I think Nebraska will maybe not be a playoff team, but be a respectable team by the end of the season. Same thing with Washington, probably just on the outside looking in terms of the playoffs. Those will be decent enough wins to cushion an Ohio State win at the end of the season, if that's how it goes. right? I think that those 3 wins will get you in, maybe not a bye. Obviously, you got to go win the league, and I just don't know how the rest of these games are going to shake out over the next 4 weeks. I don't think they control all of their destiny, just most of it in terms of the playoff. So we'll see how it all shakes out, right? It's not out of the question for some of those teams to lose down the stretch to teams they shouldn't. That is the nature of college football. Just kind of hang around, do your job, right? Continue to get healthy and work on continuing to get your freshman quarterback healthy, or excuse me, not healthy, comfortable with what he's doing, comfortable with what he's seeing, comfortable with what his ability is, what he should do, what he shouldn't do. All right. You're going to have a couple opponents where that's going to be a little bit easier to do. Then to close the season, you're going to have an opponent that you're going to get into a war with to try to drag out a victory. So Michigan's got a very cinematic end to the end of their season here, regardless of how it shakes out. I know all of you will be tuning in. Tune into this channel for the breakdowns, game preps coming up. We will have another video out next week prepping for the trip to Wrigley versus Northwestern. Saturday, again, you already know where we'll be at. The Big College Football Show at 11. Myself, Maze, Maniac, Johnny Oden, Josh, all kicking it off. Make sure you tune into that live on Saturdays right here on this channel. Other than that, we'll catch you on another one. Appreciate you.